Hey, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Everybody Wants England. Hey, Batman. And I see Jay is waiting backstage, and I think I'm going to have Kathy on here. And Jay and Kathy are welcome to stay for the meat of the stream, but they got their booga booga bears in today. They both arrived on their doorstep or wherever they get their mail today. And so they're going to come on and they're actually going to do a live unboxing of their Booga Booga Bears. And you guys and gals can actually see them on video. Um, Now, they don't do anything fancy. They don't talk. They don't move. They don't do anything like that. But hopefully, these are going to be nice little additions to their collections. Hey, Russell. So let me just mention the movies well, a couple of movies and a special that MTV put out. Um, that's the Freddy Krueger special. I was expecting it to be longer, but actually, you can put in Freddy Krueger special from 1988, and it comes up the MTV special that they had, where basically Freddy Krueger hosted some videos, and they showed some trailers, and they had a VJ on there. Everybody remembers those um, VJs on MTV back when MTV was MTV, and they didn't have all this reality show junk. And I mean, it's reality show junk in my opinion. And they had actual music videos on MTV. And Vinnie Vincent was also on there as well. So you can check that out on YouTube. But the two Nightmare on Elm Street movies I'm going to be talking about tonight are Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, and Nightmare on Elm Street 5, which is one of the more hated Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I'm not sure why. I like The Dream Child. And I see Kathy's also waiting backstage, so I'm going to add her and Jay here in just a second. I did survive the storms. I'm here, and it got a little scary at a little bit before 6 Eastern time. There was a tornado on the ground in Prospect, which is not too far away from us, but evidently it did some damage, but it lifted and moved out of the area. So the clouds look pretty wicked. I was watching them over this way. They were those low hanging, very dark clouds, and I was a little nervous. I was watching them. I probably shouldn't have been watching them, but I was watching to see if there was going to be any rotation or anything that was going to come out of these things. And if there was, I was heading for my safe place, and I was going to take my doggies and try to get Steve to, go to a safe place with me. But thankfully, we didn't see anything like that. We had a little bit of thunder, a little bit of wind, and some rain. And now it is cooled off in the 60s now, whereas it was almost 80 earlier. So hopefully, we won't have any more storms. And Steve did a very foolish thing, and I was like telling him to get his ass back in here. But right when I saw those really dark, low hanging clouds, he decides he wants to go out and screw around with the trash can. I said, leave the trash can alone. Stay in here with me and the dogs. No, he doesn't listen. He goes out there, screws around with the trash can, fiddles around with something else. I said, will you quit playing around out there and get in here? He said, I'm not playing around. I said, will you quit screwing around and get in here? He said, I'm not screwing around. I'm trying to fix things. I said, if we lose a trash can, that's the least of our worries. I said, get in here. But anyway, we're safe and sound for right now, and hopefully there won't be any more, vicious looking clouds or storms or anything like that. But what have I got going on for the rest of the week? Hopefully, I will be able to have the horror on TV with TJ tomorrow night, and we'll be talking about some more creep show segments. Thursday, um, hopefully, I'm going to have Uncle Bill on here with me, plus anybody else that wants to come on, because I'm going to be talking about Blood Diner, uh, Blood Games. I think you ladies will like this one. And Blood Harvest with the late great Tiny Tim. It's the only horror movie I ever knew Tiny Tim was in. And he doesn't sing Tiptoe Through the Tulips, but he does sing some other songs and looks very creepy in some clown makeup in this movie. Friday, you get a double dose of me because Terror Time Tea will be earlier in the day, about the time I get off from work. And then at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you will see me and Jay doing the midday with Dana and Jay. I have no idea what we're going to talk about again, but it's going to be fun. And Jay might or might not get naked. We'll leave that up in the air about whether he'll get naked or not. Saturday and Sunday, we got some watch-alongs coming up. Because I didn't get to do Night Riders last Sunday, it will be this Sunday, which means I'm going to have to push Multiplicity to the next weekend. I need to remember to tell Candace that because she wants to be on the Multiplicity watch-along. But we will be having Magic with Anthony Hopkins on Saturday. And then Sunday will be Night Riders and the return of Movie Munchies. And I'm going to be making a variation of the Milky Way cake, the recipe that Kathy sent me. Only I'm going to be putting Snicker bars in it, and it's going to be a Critters cake. So be on the lookout for all of that coming up this weekend and the rest of the week. And now, without further ado, I'm going to add Jay and Kathy here so they can do their unboxing here. Hey, Jay.
Hey, Dana.
And we're going to add Kathy. Hey, Kathy.
Hey, Jay.
Hi, Dana.
Hi, sis.
So y'all ready to unbox some Booga Booga Bears?
I cheated. I can't stand it. I opened mine. Hey, Jay, you can go first if you want to do your actual unboxing. Like I could let that sit there all afternoon. I wanted to see him.
Mine's in the box because I know how to do a proper unboxing. I'm not saying nothing, I love you, but
kiss my grits, buddy.
Yeah. But ladies first. Show yours off first.
I wasn't under contract now, Jay Carlton. Now listen.
I'm just busting your balls. Let's see your bear.
I gotta fix this. Pull his shirt down a little bit. He's trying to do like Dot said. It's a crop top she wore today at that party. Well, wait a minute. Let me get him in camera. Oh, it's my neighbor. My neighbor's gonna come over. What the hell are you screaming? Can y'all see it, or do I need to go out farther?
I can see it.
There we go.
Yeah, now we see it good there.
Yeah, it's a bear. But
let's see the hoodie. Let's see the back of it.
Oh, this is not the one with the hoodie on it. But let me show you. But let me show you the other one.
Yeah, because I had a little snafu with Kathy, so she got one without the hoodie.
Oh, okay.
And I got one. But y'all don't understand. Lucy here already had a bow waiting on her.
There you go. She found a use for the other one.
There you go. And it is a hoodie, Jay.
Oh, okay. So you sent her a hoodie also.
Well, the reason being, and you may not be able to see it on camera, is that I discovered there was a little error in the original shirt I did for Kathy. The lettering somehow got on the collar of the shirt, like the right about here on the shirt, and I did not notice it till Steve came home that day, and he was looking at it. He said, "What's this?" I was like, "Oh shit!" I was like,
You don't notice it though. I mean, really, I would have been fine with just the one, but I'm glad you sent me two because Dorothy got me this bear. If I can get it back in camera, got me this bear, and it smells like cotton candy for Valentine's Day.
"Oh wow,
Yeah,
I would love that."
I have to stick it on the shelf across the room because I can't. If you put it, she wants to put it in my bed every time she comes over here, and it's a little too strong. But so now, Booga Bear, Lucy, Booga Bear, Lucy from Kentucky,
Yep.
and her friend. I don't know where the heck he's from, but anyway, they both got shirts. I was like, sorry.
I would call the other one Teddy Freddy.
Teddy, that just sounds a little creepy, Jay.
Well, that's Freddy's creepy.
Oh, why don't I just call him Freddy?
Or call him Freddy, yeah. But
Yeah.
I think Teddy Freddy.
Freddy and Lucy. Well, thank you.
How did John's party go?
I put a bunch of pictures on my Facebook today. It went really well. I ordered him a Five Nights at Freddy bear, and it back ordered, and then they just canceled it on me. So I just ordered another one, and he said, "I think, Nanny, you got scammed." So I got his message right before we got on here. So I don't know. He was real happy. He had a whole bag full of stuff. So that's the least of my problem, honestly. The first one he liked a lot, and the second one just has some bug. It just. I think it's generic. So but anyway, it's another one. But I got him a book, and I got him a bunch of stickers, FNF stickers. I got him. He's into Portal, and that was the thing for his birthday party was Portal. So I had ordered him this metal Portal sign, so that came in good. And so anyway, he had a whole pile of stuff. So he was happy. He got one of them virtual things.
Yeah, I saw that picture. I was like, "That's a virtual reality headset."
Yeah, it is. And he'd been wanting one because his other friend, the other homeschool friend that lives down the road had one. They went over there and visited with them and saw their two guinea pigs and played with them and had a good time about a week and a half ago. And John wanted one really, really bad. And then Dorothy wanted a portable DVD player, so she got that for John's birthday. But anyway, so when I walked in, he was in the living room with that thing.
Huh.
Yeah, I said, "You can tell I'm here." Well, yeah. I said, "Okay." But he loves it. And apparently you can connect to the internet on it, y'all, Wi-Fi, or however that works.
Yeah.
And play all kinds of games on it.
Yeah, I have two virtual reality headsets. I haven't had mine out. I got the Oculus ones,
Yeah.
and they're really cool, but you got to be really careful. I guess kids could probably tolerate it better than us adults, but I have to sit down sometimes while I'm doing stuff because I'm afraid I'm going to fall over the couch or fall, and kill myself doing that. But
He said, I had walked over and sat on the corner of the couch. You have to give me a corner with pillows behind my back. They got a real nice, fancy black leather couch, but I can't hardly sit on the thing without all that. And I'm sitting on the corner, and I started to get up, and he goes, "You're fine, Nana. I've got a block around."
Yeah.
Dana, that just watch me. I'm busy. So just don't get too close, in other words. I said, "Oh, that's neat." But anyway, he played with that a little while even after he opened his gifts. Everybody went in to eat pizza and cake. and sodas. The kids never get sodas, so I think Dorothy was more excited about the orange Fanta than she was about the cake. But anyway, it was a good time, and my daughter's best friend was there, so she had to be nice to me.
Ah, there you go.
Well,
So I guess Jay's ready to open his.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I like to say I didn't mind to save time, Jay.
Do a proper unboxing.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Okay. I don't want to cut the bears.
Have you ever heard of Milo tea?
I have not. That's the first time I've seen that.
Milo.
Look at this. Milo's tea. It is, this one is 0 calorie sweet, brewed fresh, sugar free, fresh made since 1946. It's a company, it's a woman owned. It's a company out of Bessemer, Alabama. Our Walmart has it.
Well, Blissful must have had it. She says it's good tea.
Yeah, it is very good.
Okay.
Oh, look. Jay's got the lid open. Gotta save that. I gotta save that. I never know why I need to wrap something in the mail today. Now, come on now.
Jay's gonna pop them.
Yeah, and here I'm rolling it real gently and putting it in my stash closet for all my wrapping stuff. And Jay says, "Ah, look! I know we've seen pictures, but that's the real deal."
Mm-hmm.
Look at him holding it up just like he's supposed to.
And his does have a hoodie on it. It's like half the shirts were hoodies and half were just.
Yeah, I was going to say, it didn't really matter to me, but when I picked it up and I said, "Oh, I got a hoodie too." All right. Gonna have to put it on the other bear.
Let's see. I'm trying to figure out how I could show your tag properly.
Oh, the Booga Bears tag.
Well, that's good right there, Bubba, right there. That's good. It's hard for me, y'all, to get in the frames good with this stuff. Maybe if I had put my... Now I'm upside down. That won't work. Here, I'll put me back.
I feel like I was having to do that to see Kathy.
I put it to see if my phone would go, but no, it's not going to do it. Hi. You going to name yours, or you going to do a naming contest?
He's Teddy Quint.
Teddy what?
Teddy Quint.
Oh, Quint. Need a bigger boat? Come down here and drink some of this shit. That Quint.
Yeah.
Well, Quint is the owner of the Orca, and he gets Ed up at the.
Yeah, I know who he is. About the time you said it, I haven't been able to hear so good.
And it's real soft.
They are extremely soft.
Very soft. Yeah.
And I like that they're a good size. I'd want one regardless, of course, but any smaller, I don't know. I like him because she'll sit perfectly by my other one on my shelf.
Well, I'm going to put him back in the box because I got a place right here behind the TV on the wall that I want to display him, but I don't have the little shelf yet. But I want a little shelf to put him on.
Yeah.
Because I don't have any good shelf space right now. It's all covered up with stuff. And,
I got to get Steve to put up my other 2 shelves over here so I can put some stuff on them.
I can't mount anything. That sounds funny. You could quite often, but no, I can't mount. Everything that goes on my walls can only be Velcro because I'm leasing this place.
Oh. Right.
Not Velcro, command strips. Come on down.
Command strips, yeah.
Yeah, and I've got real comfortable with the different sizes of command strips and the different weights they hold. They lie. You got to put extras to get stuff to stay up, but I've done pretty good.
But anyway, you see him good, and this is.
So hopefully Jay and Kathy, they seem happy with their bears.
Oh yeah, he couldn't be cuter, couldn't be softer.
Yeah.
And you did great with the shirts and
yeah, Dana, really and truly, I thought, well, this other bear is a little more meaty. I don't
So
want to mess this
everybody in
food
this
up.
damn room needs to be putting in an order. And
Y'all come get your Booga Booga Bear. I'm telling you, man.
I'll shame you into it.
Yeah,
And if you're,
jail shame you.
if you're any account, you'll be buying a Booga Booga
There you
Bear.
go. Any account. Yeah, I love how, yeah, that's something my daddy used to say all the time. Well, daddy, who's that? Oh, it don't matter. They ain't no account.
Yeah.
Guess I
Well,
don't
you
want to know
prove
those
you
people.
that you are some account and get a Booga Bear. You see how great her design work is. And the bears, good sized bears, and they're so soft. I mean, they're just, yeah, they're
And the t-shirts are customizable. You can get anything you want.
it doesn't have to be a horror movie. I mean, she kind of specializes in horror stuff, but it can be just any movie that it doesn't even have to be a movie. Just
You
it
can
could
have
be,
your pets put on there if you don't mind sending me pictures of
you
your
put your
pets.
damn cell phone there if you wanted to, you know. You know.
You
Yeah, I
can
don't.
put your grandkids on there, your kids, whatever, whatever you want. I actually did a Tumblr for those of you that I can't show you the Tumblr because I've already given it to my aunt, but she wanted her 2 dogs on it. And she wanted it to say, I just want to drink coffee and pet my dogs. And she just absolutely loved it.
Yeah, that was a real pretty. I call them wraps, Dana, for a better word. You know,
Ooh.
that was so pretty. I bet she did like it. Happy Easter.
Well, I told Dana that there's some scenarios or some movies where like it's alive, it has a baby. It could be a baby bib instead of a shirt. It could be a baby bib.
Yeah, exactly.
With
Oh,
the
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
with the it's alive, bassinet, on it,
Yeah.
the clawed hand coming out. That'd be real
From
cool.
that creepy commercial.
Yeah,
Especially.
but a baby bib,
Yeah. I mean, I know you have to tweak the design, to keep the copyright in order stuff for you, but that baby bibs, are you kidding me? And onesies, if you did a show, those would sell because you can't find them. You can't. There's no way unless somebody just wants to make one. But when my kids was little babies, Dana, I would have bought stuff like that. I would have bought Linda Blair turned around and puke it.
Yeah.
April was born in '83, so I would have put it on her. I think I wouldn't have done it. I would have.
Yeah, there's a lot of, parents, especially nowadays, that now I don't think my parents would have they liked horror movies when they were younger, but I don't think they would have dressed me up in a onesie with that. But I think a lot of young people now would put just about anything on their kids.
Yeah.
But it's not that mom and dad didn't like the horror movies they were watching. I guess they just didn't think it was suitable for.
And it's not. That's what's so much fun about it. It's not stupid at all to put a Freddy Krueger claw onesie on or bib on your baby. But that's what's so cool about it.
But then when your kid gets older, you can say, "Look at this." When you were tiny, we put this onesie or this baby bib on you.
Yeah.
And they'd probably be like, "Mom, Dad, what in the heck's wrong with y'all?"
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Well, if you did that, then order me the shirt too now. Come on now. Well, I'm gonna let y'all go because I partied. I walked over the two streets from their house to the Walmart, got just a few things, Ubered home, and I've been playing my games, my Animal Crossing game, and relaxing and stretched out. But y'all, I took a nerve pill last night. I had this nerve pill called hydroxine.
I have that. I take that too.
Thank you. And the only time I have to take it if I'm going to be around my daughter or my ex-husband, and I'm like, I've got to be around you, and I can't stand you this week. So I took one last night, and Dana, the next day I have hard to get going. So I took it about 8:30 last night, and I get up 2 or 3 times a night anyway and have to do the potty run because I'm old, y'all. I'm old, but I don't care. I'm proud to wake up. But anyway,
There you go.
I thought this stuff is gonna It's going to be hard on me, when I do have to get on up. But it wasn't at all. And I slept good. It's used a lot of times as a sedation before people go into surgery.
Well, this is the opposite of a nerve pill. But I showed Red Alert yesterday, but today it's the bomb.
Oh my God.
Double caffeinated coffee.
Jay, I don't know what what keeps you from spreading wings and flying away. You're so high strung.
Because I only drink it in the morning. Yeah, just in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, the bomb, double caffeinated.
Jay makes coffee nervous.
It was Red Alert yesterday, so today it's
okay.
I had some Starbucks this morning.
Ooh, I love Starbucks. I wanted Starbucks right across the street from that Walmart I went to over there by their house is a Starbucks. And I'm like, I'll just grab me a couple of bottles of Starbucks cold brew and just take it home. So that's what I'm going to do in the morning. Well, I'll let y'all go.
Well, thank you for coming on, Kathy, and come back next time when you can stay longer and you can hang out with me.
I'm going to watch that Knight Rider. So I'm going to
Knight Riders. Yeah, that's good. You'll like it.
I'm going to check it out, and I'm going to I can't remember what else I was going to do because I'm old. See, but I'm happy.
So, that's the important thing. You're happy.
Well, before you go, this is some breathing. It's not. I'm not going to get naked here.
Lord, no.
But I found this when I was digging through some old junk in the store building, and it's from Sons of Anarchy, and it's a tattoo. But I thought, well, this isn't going to work, but it worked. But
it worked.
It's a Reaper.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, cool.
Can't see it too good, but I can see it good enough. There you go. I like that, Jay.
Yeah,
I got me some skull tattoos. They're sparkling, and they're big, but I haven't used one yet. I figured
I'm coming from Temu that's supposed to go all up down your arm, but I think I'm gonna put it on my chest because I'm weird.
I've got this. I'll make short story short, I promise y'all, but I've got this next door neighbor. I got one that's really cool. She brought me over cupcakes Easter Sunday. She said, I noticed you said you're going to be home, and she brought me these cupcakes. Y'all, they were banana nut bread cupcakes.
Oh, y'all shut up.
with pink fluffy icing, Dana. Oh, it was good. And then later that night, about 9, she works for Texas Department of Public Safety. She works over at their offices, and she said, I had to go in tonight. They had a big old huge drug bust on the big highway down here, and I had to go in. She does dispatching and books people in. I said, dang, girl. But anyway, she said, I brought you something, and handed me a container about this big, y'all. And she had made a banana nut bread cake with no icing to have with her coffee. She said, here, I'll eat this. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't give it all to me. She said, yes, I do. Dana, I was in the hospital. I had pneumonia, real deep, hard cough. And I asked for a cough syrup, and they'll bring you the cough syrup with the codeine if you're bad. And I was bad that time, right? And then I told the doctor when he admitted me, I said, I need my hydroxine because they'll give you breathing treatments that hype you up and then tell you, try to sleep. Well, I'm like Jay normally is on that stuff. Well, I said, can I have that hydroxy? He said, with that codeine, I can't. Listen, I don't want to kill you. So he went to the doctor. Doctor come back and said, oh, just give her some Demerol with it. Oh, my Lord. I said, well, I don't want Demerol. I just need something to relax me. Well, I'll let y'all go.
Well, thank you for stopping by, Kathy, and for showing us your bear. And I'm glad that both of them made it safely to their new homes.
Yeah, I just love it, Dana. I just love it, and it's worth every penny. And I'm just tickled to death over it. Now I got to try to find some of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies to watch again because some of them I'm out of touch with.
4 and 5 are on Netflix.
Netflix, okay. Because that's the one
you'll might be more, but I watched 4 today because I thought, well, that's
what I need to do, Joe. Yeah,
actually talk about that.
Yeah.
In 5 and Freddy's dead, I get mixed up. That's like I forget what happens in each movie because I get them sort of mixed up because they're the ones I don't return to very often, but
Yeah.
I do quite a bit.
Well, I got Netflix.
Yeah.
I probably cut off AMC if they don't bring back some more of the ones who lives, because they done bummed me out. That explosion and that's it. That's a finale. Well, y'all better kiss my greens.
I still haven't watched. I've only seen that first episode. So.
Oh, wait, just wait. Okay, I'll talk to you later.
That's it.
Bye.
All right. So I'm going to read through some of these messages that people were putting in the chat because I don't want to leave anybody out. Oh, thank you, Russell. Russell says you are our booga bear, so that makes me feel good. Batman says Steve said he wanted to reenact his fave Helen Hunt movie Twister. Well, I'm glad we didn't actually have a Twister, but like I said, those clouds look wicked.
Well, I was watching the weather today, and they had, they've got these levels. It's like 1 through 5.
Right.
And so Kentucky was in level 4 as far as severe weather, and I think Louisville had a tornado. So I don't know how close you are to Louisville, but
well, we're in Louisville, but what happened was it passed north of where we're at in Louisville, so it just basically maybe clipped the metro area, the downtown area of Louisville. But mainly when the tornado was on the ground, it was in Prospect and Crestwood, LaGrange, and all those places are close to us, but they're just a little bit north of us. So we could see those nasty looking clouds, and thankfully they didn't come over this way, but I could look over that way and see them. And that was those really dark, low hanging clouds that look like something could come out of them at any, point in time. That's why I was looking to see if there was any rotation in them or anything like that. I probably would have lost my shit if I had seen anything, but thankfully we didn't see anything bad as far as funnels or anything like that. But and then there was a tornado that caused quite a bit of destruction in Nelson County, which I believe is just outside of Lexington, which is about, I don't know if it's 2.5, 3 hours away from us, or maybe it's not that far, but Lexington's a little ways away from us. But
well, good, you're safe. And
yeah, we dodged a bullet today, so I'm thankful for that. I'm sorry for people in other areas though that had some damage, lost power, different things. I think in Indiana there were like 3 semis that flipped over on the interstate.
Yeah, I was seeing something. It wasn't semis; it was camper trailers that were flipped over in someplace in Kentucky and like you say, Indiana. And there's quite a. And what's weird is you guys have got the same storm system that we had yesterday.
Yeah.
It's the same system. It just gained energy and strength as it.
Yeah.
Got up
And here's something that's even creepier and makes me shudder when I think about it. Back in 1974, there was, I think this is still considered the worst super outbreak of tornadoes ever in the United States. And there's a place called Brandenburg, which is really not very far from Louisville, in Meade County, I believe. And my parents told me about that, and I saw pictures of it. It basically destroyed Brandenburg.
Mm.
If you look at pictures, it looks like a war zone. Their houses are literally flat, and there's hardly anything left. And they built that place back up, but I saw some of these storms were moving through the Brandenburg area, and every time I think of that, I think about those poor people. And that was on April 3rd and 4th, 1974. They hit Brandenburg, they hit some other places in Kentucky, they hit places in Indiana, uh, almost destroyed Xenia, Ohio. You can go look all that stuff up, but this year is going to be the 50th anniversary of those supercell tornadoes.
Well, I think it was the late 50s, and my neighbors that I go to town with sometimes, they lived through it. They tell me about it. But Waco got hit with a tornado and just pretty much wiped out Waco, Texas. Just particularly, because it was a big downtown area at the time during the late 50s. That was the main commerce was downtown, Waco, and it just pretty much just blew it off the map in the late 50s, and just basically had to rebuild Waco.
Yeah, that's what Brandenburg had to do. All the people, there were a lot of people. I think maybe 30 something people got killed in Brandenburg alone. And Brandenburg wasn't a very big place. It wasn't a huge place. But yeah, terrible.
We've gone all this time and we hadn't said a word about any Robert Englund movies.
No, but we are gonna get to them here. So first of all, what I want to talk about is the Freddy Krueger special that MTV had. Jay, do you remember the Freddy Krueger special? Where basically
I remember, I might have seen it. I don't remember a second of it, but I might have seen it because that's something that during that time I would watch MTV quite a bit. So
now I'm not going to show it because chances are, even though it's free for you guys and gals to look at on YouTube, if I showed it on my stream, it'd probably get my stream cut off. Even though the videos aren't included in there, there are trailers for some of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. But basically, what it was this was the height of, dare I say it, Freddy mania. And so Freddy was everywhere. Freddy was everywhere in it at this point in time, which was 1988 was when this was on. So think back to 1988 and where you were, what you were doing, how old you were. I was all of 12 at this point in time.
I think I was 22.
So Jay was a little bit older than me.
Well, like I say, Freddy was pretty much at that point, he'd become this pop culture icon. Yeah. Instead of like a villain in a horror film, he was pretty much an anti-hero that he had become, where, you rooted for Freddy. It was Freddy's was the man, and
you wanted to see what the next one liner from Freddy was.
They started by that time, they were selling Freddy to kids, there was bubblegum cards and whatever, selling it all across the market. Every age group was into Freddy.
And Batman mentions a quote from New Nightmare, which we haven't gotten to yet, but this fits in with what we're talking about. He says, just like Heather said in New Nightmare, every kid knows who Freddy is. He's like Santa Claus. And that's exactly
that's true. Right. Yeah, particularly during that time, that was true.
And I mean, he was like Santa Claus. I mean, he was the anti-hero that Jay's talking about. He literally was everywhere. I think he had the phone number where you could call and listen to Freddy, with your parents' permission. But I wonder how many kids didn't get their parents' permission before they called that 900 number and stayed on there for 45 minutes and ran up the phone bill. Because those were like, what, $1 and something, $2 a minute or something like that you were staying on there. And I could just see kids, listening for an hour or something, and then their parents getting a $200 phone bill or something like that. But I never did that, but I remember seeing Freddy everywhere, and I remember wanting everything, even at 12 years old, wanting everything that Freddy was on, whether it was a t-shirt or a hat or those little, does anybody remember those little squeeze balls that you could put water in, and it would, I think they had Freddy and Jason, and they might have had some others, but Freddy and Jason I really remember. And you could squeeze them and the water would come out of the mouth or
They
something.
had these like plush dolls of Freddy. I remember that.
And they had the talking Freddy doll, which I
Yeah.
begged my parents to buy me, and they bought me this. And you pulled the string on him, and he would say one of those Freddy-isms, that we had come to know
And
him.
that's what he had become. He went from becoming a horror movie villain to being you wanted to buddy around with Freddy. You wanted Freddy as a pal.
Yeah, I want Freddy to come to my birthday party.
You wanted to hang out with Freddy, So that was the transition from this, evil character in a horror film to this, like you say, having him over to your birthday party.
And I think that was part of the charm of a big part of the charm of Freddy has to go to Robert Englund, because if you watch Robert Englund talk, and sadly, I never paid much attention to interviews with Robert Englund back in the day. Now I'm going back and enjoying the stuff and enjoying stuff he's doing now, just like that Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares documentary. I just couldn't get enough of that. The man will charm the pants off of you. And I'm not trying to make some kind of sexual joke, but he is a very charming man. And if you go and look at this catalog of movies, he didn't just play, scary child killer Freddy Krueger. He played a variety of characters, some very good characters, some not so good characters. But he was excellent in all of those, even before and after he was Freddy. So I say the popularity of Freddy is 100% due to Robert Englund. If you had had anybody else play that role, a la Jackie Earle Haley, who I love Jackie Earle Haley in anything but that Nightmare on Elm Street remake. That was terrible, terrible, terrible miscasting. I've said that before, I'll say it again. Among other things wrong with that remake. I won't be as gracious as Robert Englund was about it. A few years back, they did an interview with him, and he talked about why the Nightmare on Elm Street remake failed. And I'm like, man, Robert Englund, you're being too nice. You're being too nice to this movie. But anyway, this little MTV thing was the very epitome of pop culture Freddy. And if you don't believe me, you go watch that on YouTube, and you will definitely see it. And so there's not a whole lot to talk about with that. I mean, Freddy Krueger was on it. He interacted with one of the MTV VJs. He interacted with Vinnie Vincent. He showed some trailers. He introduced some videos, and that was about the extent of it. But you better believe there was a whole hell of a lot of people watching that at that time. But since Jay doesn't remember anything about it at this point, I won't ask him about that. But I will give a rating to this. And I'm going to give it a 3 deadites out of 5. And here's why. Not because it was terrible. It was entertaining, but there just wasn't a lot there. hence me only giving it a 3. But Robert Englund was fantastic in it, and it was like a little skit. It sort of reminded me of a Saturday Night Live skit. So there just wasn't a whole lot there for me to rate. So that's my rating on that one. Yes, back when MTV was fun, Blissful, you were exactly right about that. Which moving along, and I was too lazy to get my single DVDs out, so I have my Blu-ray Nightmare on Elm Street collection, um, and I will show you the disc that has 4 and 5 on it. Basically, these discs all look the same. They look like Freddy has slashed through them, but this is the one that has 4 and 5 on it.
I tell you what's crazy about 2 of these that I've got, and they're all DVDs, but here's the Nightmare. Let's see. Here's part 2.
Yep.
And what's crazy about this is 3 I've got somewhere. I don't know where I've got it, but 4 and Freddy's Dead are still sealed.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. 4 and Freddy, yeah, they're still sealed. I've never watched these actual DVDs. Yeah.
You might be able to get some money out of those,
I don't
Jay.
know. Yeah, I don't know if they're worth anything or not. Yeah, but anyway, they're the DVDs. I don't know where my 3 is. I've got 3 somewhere, but yeah.
Hey, Victor. Victor says Robert Englund was absolutely perfect as Freddy. Jackie Earl Haley was absolutely perfect as Kelly Leak in Bad News Bears. Yes, he was. He was also fantastic in Breaking Away. And I agree with you, Victor, but not so much as Freddy Krueger. That was just that was bad miscasting. So to get to Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, this is one of my all-time favorite Nightmare on Elm Street sequels. Even, dare I say it, even more so than The Dream Warriors Part 3. There's just something I absolutely love about this. And I think a big part of why I love this is the character of Alice and how she goes from this meek, unassuming, hardly will speak to anybody type of person, kind of like I was when I was in school, you know. And then by the end or near the end of the film, she turns into this total badass. And it's the badass that I wish that I could be. Instead, I just kept being the meek and mild Dana I was for many, many years. You couldn't tell that now because I get on here and act like a crazy person on these streams. But I remember the first time I saw the reveal of Alice when most all of her friends are dead. Her brother is dead. And she has absorbed all the skills and energy from all of them. And she's taken all the photos off of her mirror where she had covered up the mirror with pictures of her friends and pictures of her brother because she didn't want to see herself. But near the end of the film, she takes all of those pictures off and she does the whole thing where she's gotten the skill from her brother to use the nunchucks and to be able to do the karate kicks and all that. And she looks at herself and she says, fucking A. And I'm like, you go, girl. That is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, besides Freddy in the movie. So, to see her go up against Freddy Krueger, who is basically the ultimate nemesis. He's the guy that'll come into your nightmares and then even out of your nightmares, and he'll kill your ass. So you better have your A game on. And Alice, by the end of the movie, does have her A game. And she's ready to kick some Freddy ass all over the place. So um, I just I can't even begin to describe really fully how much I love this movie. It does have some great kills in it too, including one girl getting turned into a cockroach, literally, and getting smashed in a roach motel by Freddy.
Check in, they don't check out.
That's exactly right. And
And what was it? The Screaming Mad George.
I believe so. Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Batman says he can't watch Debbie's death when he's snacking. No, I wouldn't recommend that. Debbie is the one that gets turned into the cockroach. Um, Thank you, Blissful. Blissful says, please hit the thumbs up. Thank you. So, Jay, part 4 was one you said you could talk about, right?
Oh yeah, well I can talk about the 5 also, but 4 is the one that I return to when I'm going to watch a nightmare film. It's one of the ones that I often return to, and like you say, as much as I like 3, and I've often said 3 is my favorite, I think lately I'm leaning more towards 4 as being my favorite.
Right.
Of the entire series, even more than 1. And for one thing, Freddy is still a motherfucker in this movie. He is still mean as hell. He doesn't become the wisecracking clown that he becomes in the next 2 films. He's a badass in this one, and he's mean and vicious. He still cracks the jokes. He'll have the one-liners,
Right.
What was it? How's that for a wet dream? I think is what.
Yeah.
And the waterbed girl, and but yeah, he's still. It's probably I guess the last film in the series where he is really mean and vicious and mean before he becomes the wisecracking, kind of clown. He's still the old fashioned Freddy that still kind of creeps you out and still gets vicious and gets mean and sadistic. While he's still cracking the jokes. But yeah, it's well. You go ahead and give whatever your rating is.
Well, I know Jay says he likes to save this one for the classics. But guys and gals, I gotta give it 5 deadites out of 5 because, like I said, as much as I like part 3, this one stands on its own as probably one of the strongest Nightmare on Elm Street films up until, dare I say, New Nightmare, but I'm going to be talking about New Nightmare later on. Because New Nightmare is a whole different animal, and we'll get to that one. But at this point in time, I think for me, this was the ultimate Nightmare on Elm Street film just after the original film. I could watch the original Nightmare on Elm Street and then turn right around and watch this one and feel so much satisfaction. I don't think that we were let down by this movie at all. I think Robert Englund. I don't think he ever really fell out of his groove, but I think they were still letting Robert Englund hold the reins as far as the Freddy Krueger character. I don't think anybody had messed with it that much. They were kind of just saying, "Okay, Robert, you go with this." Okay. And we all know that even the most beloved horror franchise characters, inevitably, some executive who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground is going to come along and try to change something. We all know that's going to happen at some point. These stupid remakes that are horrible would not even get made if it wasn't for studio execs like that, you know. So, uh, yeah, I mean, 5 Deadites out of 5 all the way. If you've never seen A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, run, don't walk, find a for free version. I think
It's
JD
on Netflix.
Net-
4 and 5 are on Netflix. I don't know if any of the previous ones are on Netflix, but I know those two are on Netflix.
So yeah, definitely seek this one out if you either haven't seen it before or it's been a long while um, since you've seen it. So Jay, any closing thoughts on part 4 and your rating?
Well, no, I think it is pretty much. I don't know if I'd say perfect, but as far as in the series of nightmare films, definitely one of the best, if not the best.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll give it a 5 too. Yeah, I'll give it a classic.
All right. So,
because I don't think there's a bad moment in the film, and it's one of the more streamlined
yeah.
nightmares. And the way I say that, there's not a bunch of side characters. There's not a bunch of, it's streamlined. It's focused on Alice and her friends, and her dealing with her friends being murdered one by one, and gaining her strength, like you say, going from very meek and not wanting to see her own reflection to finally just, letting it all hang out. And when she's, getting her strength and getting the strength of her dead friends inside of her, and great effects from Screaming Mad George, and yeah, and the waterbed girl. For you
For
guys,
you guys,
yeah,
quarterback girl.
very lovely, lovely lady. And yeah, and so yeah, I'll give it a 5. It's one of the best of the series, if not the best. And a lot of people would go to 3, and I've often said 3 is my favorite, but I think lately I've been watching 4 more than any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Let's see. Kathy says, because Kathy's in the chat, she said, I have, I think she means I have never seen 5. Batman says same. 5. It's my third favorite. Kathy says I'm watching 4 and 5 tonight. She's watching 4 right now. And Batman says, if I remember correctly, 4 started me on Nightmare. And Kathy says, Batman, I have a lot of catching up on movies, makes fun nights a long time. And Batman says, amen, Kathy. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's good to be alone, and sometimes it's good to be with other people. And even though I'm married, sometimes I like a little alone. Like, I like a little me time. I love my husband, but sometimes late at night is the best time for me because I can just literally sit and watch what I want. And I have my doggies around me, and I'm just there watching, classic, in my opinion, a lot of classic horror films, and stuff I grew up with. And A Nightmare on Elm Street movies are definitely something that I grew up on. And I feel bad for people that have never been able to experience the joys of watching an original Nightmare on Elm Street film. Because, man, you're missing out. I'm afraid you're missing out. If you've never seen any original Nightmare on Elm Street films, you got to watch at least one. You got to watch at least one. And I would recommend the first one, definitely. The fourth one, which we talked about, The Dream Master. And we're going to move on to Nightmare on Elm Street 5. We're going to segue right into that. The Dream Child. Now, it's called The Dream Child because what Freddy does in this one is Alice is pregnant, and Freddy's going to infiltrate her child's dreams while he's still in the womb. So I think this is a fantastic idea because they do say that babies will dream when they are in the womb. So I think this is an excellent idea. Whoever had this idea that Freddy was gonna, at this point he's kind of running out of the original Elm Street children. So he's going to get inside the dreams of one of the uh, young people's babies. So, and I think that the kid that plays because we see it not as a baby necessarily, when things really get ratcheted up in this, we see the personification of what Jacob, her baby, is going to look like when he's older. Okay. And with Freddy playing around inside the infant's head, we see Jacob wearing dirty clothes, and Freddy's kind of trying to take him over and show him how to be like him. And Freddy's not yet done killing people that Alice cares about, because she got with the character of Dan, who's a jock on part 4. He is the daddy of her baby. And what does Freddy do? Well, he's going to kill whoever you're closest to because he thinks that makes you weak. In this case, I think it makes Alice stronger and more insistent that she's going to save her child from this monster. And her and Jacob together set out to destroy Freddy in this film. And I think it's a hell of a good film. I'm going to say right off, I'm not going to give it a 5, but it's still enjoyable. I had a lot of fun with it. I always have a lot of fun with it. Robert Englund as Freddy is starting to become more of like the clown, having the clownish aspects as he's, killing off more of the people around Alice. And, but I think the kills are great in this. I think the having Freddy invade the infant's dreams is fantastic. I think that's a genius idea. I don't really know why people hate it so much, but I'm going to turn it over to Jay so he can talk about his thoughts.
I don't hate it. It's like you say. It's when Freddy starts to become more clownish, more of the sort of anti-hero, more of the well, let's have fun with Freddy kind of thing. Instead of being this vicious, sadistic killer, which he does kill, definitely, and kills in creative ways. But his personality becomes more clownish, more cartoonish, and he becomes more of the sort of Freddy that he would become, like you say in that special, the MTV special, being the, where you, this kind of Freddy you would want at your birthday party and that kind of thing,
Exactly.
And I don't hate it. I enjoy it. Good, really good effects. I don't know who did the effects for this one, but there's still some cool effects in it. I would put it lower on the list of Freddy films. I would put it, well, probably where it belongs. It's probably where it belongs at 5. And, right above, Freddy's Dead. I'll give it a 3. I would, if you had a half, I'd give it 3.5.
Okay. But I've still got to get that half, Jay. I'm gonna get my button here. I'm gonna go a little bit higher than Jay. I said I wasn't going to give it a 5, but I'm going to give it 4. Now, as far as hating the film, I do think the Dead Pit Boys hate it. They've talked about it, multiple times, and they can, they can come on here or comment on the video.
Well, what I don't understand about that is, even though, yeah, you get Freddy in several points being kind of silly, kind of cartoonish, but to me, not near as much as Freddy's Dead.
No,
I think it's better than Freddy's Dead. I think it actually belongs where it's at, as 5, as the 5th, the film, as far as the quality. I think it belongs as 5. And yeah, I mean, but I don't hate it. It's hard to hate it because it's Freddy Krueger doing Freddy Krueger stuff, and cool. Like, it's got some cool makeup effects and, visual effects and practical effects and stuff. That even if you don't, think it's a great film, it's still something you can put on as background and just have fun with anyway.
exactly. Yeah.
Because it's Freddy doing his Freddy shit, so.
I think I've heard CK actually say, and CK, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think I've actually heard him say he hates that kid that plays Jacob. And I don't.
I need to watch it again. Like I say, it's on Netflix. I may watch it tomorrow. And just reacquaint myself and see if I still hate the kid, like you originally hated the shiny kid.
I did.
You grew to like him.
Yes,
We'll see. Because my memory of the kid, I don't remember him being that annoying or something that I really hated. But I need to refresh my memory on it.
Blair's in here. Hey, Blair. He says Freddy versus Chester Graham. Who wins? Who would win, Jay?
Well, Chester is more mild mannered, so I think Freddy would win that fight.
He'd eviscerate Chester.
Yeah, I think he'd kill Chester. But I'm not completely sure if Chester is a living being or if he's like some kind of undead zombie or something.
Yeah, and if he's an undead zombie, then Freddy could do everything.
That never has been really established, but he used to have like a fishing show and stuff like that, before but he never gets out the makeup, so I'm not sure. But yeah, Freddy would probably win that fight.
Blair says that kid was annoying on Full House. Now, I remember him on Full House, and I also think he was the same kid that played Mikey's friend on the movie Mikey, with Brian Bonsall playing the kid that would kill all his adoptive parents if he was kind of like the stepfather. When you watch Terry O'Quinn and the stepfather, if you aren't perfect and you piss him off, he's going to kill whatever family he's with, starting with his original family at the beginning of the film. So if you haven't seen Mikey, that's a fun little film. But I believe that same kid is on that as well. And so Brian Bonsall might annoy people because he was the kid who played Andy on Family Ties. He was Elisa's final kid that she had when she didn't think she could have any kids anymore. And then she got pregnant on the later Family Ties episode. But not to get too far into 80s sitcoms. Blair says that I should interview Chester Graham, and he says, hint, hint.
Yeah.
Well, if Jay can talk Chester Graham into making an appearance,
I'll see what I can do about that.
we can set up an interview that way.
That's one thing we didn't mention that in part 4, the way Freddy is reborn is Jason the dog, which I guess that was a little hint put in there, naming the dog Jason.
I bet it is, yeah.
Maybe a future collaboration. And basically, the dog pisses Freddy alive, pisses fire, and that brings Freddy back from the grave, so to speak.
Yes, it does. Getting pissed on by a dog. We'll bring Freddy back.
So, um,
Kathy says, watching 4. That dog better not get hurt, she says. Hey, Robert. Robert says, just tuning in. A Nightmare on Elm Street 4 got me really started on the franchise. I think it probably got a lot of people started on the franchise, but probably a lot of people younger than me and younger than Jay and younger than a lot of us in here. That was probably the film that turned them on to Freddy.
Well, also directed by Rennie Harlan, who
Yeah.
directed several like action films. What all did he direct? Some other films that he directed, Rennie Harlan. He didn't direct Die Hard, did he?
He may have. I'm just like completely blanking out here.
Someone do a Google. I'll do a Google.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do too.
But I know he did a bunch of action films, Rennie Harlan, and
he did Die Hard 2.
Die Hard 2. Okay.
Cliffhanger, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Deep Blue Sea, Adventures of a Ford Fairlane, which is another Robert Englund film that I'm going to be talking about soon. But yeah.
But yeah, Rennie Harlan directed that. So, and what he mainly, of course, I think it's earlier in his career, but he directed, like I say, a lot of action films. And it's a tight film. That's what I say. It's tight,
right?
It's I call it streamlined, which I like. What I say very favorably is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, there is so much to love in part 4. I know we were talking about part 5 too, but again, I don't think part 5 is a bad film in the franchise. I mean, so if you think you hate it, why don't you give it another try? And just like with me and Jay and the Shining miniseries. Like, I think Jay was pretty much convinced he was going to hate it again, So, and he was pleasantly surprised. And what I was pleasantly surprised about was that I didn't hate that kid anymore. I liked the miniseries. I just always thought that I didn't like that kid playing Danny in it. But I'll give y'all a little heads up on what I'm planning on covering next week on Everybody Wants Englund. I'm finally, hopefully, going to be talking about the Final Battle from 84. And because that one is so long, I think the only other one I'm going to talk about is Phantom of the Opera from 1989. And I don't think I've ever seen that one. So I'm going to have to see if I can find a copy to watch of Phantom of the Opera. So, and then we're going to be talking about the week after that, we're going to be talking about another Rennie Harlan film called Adventures of a Ford Fairlane from 1990. And I think that has
Andrew Dice Clay.
Is he in that?
Is that maybe I'm thinking of something different.
No, you might be. Let's check here. Okay, let's take a look here. Andrew Dice Clay is in this.
Yeah.
Gilbert Gottfried, Ed O'Neill, Wayne Newton's in this. Priscilla Presley, David Patrick Kelly, Robert Englund, of course. So yeah. And Robert Englund plays a character named Smiley. So I'm going to enjoy watching that, I think. Batman says Dana, the kid that played Jacob in part 5, was also the kid at the dig site in Jurassic Park. You are right, Batman. I had forgotten about that. Robert says I saw Rennie Harlan in an interview. He said he really wanted Nightmare 4 to really stand out, and it did. The movie was mentioned on TV shows such as The Golden Girls and Roseanne. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Freddy Krueger becoming part of pop culture history. And when you start showing up, when you're mentioned in things like The Golden Girls, when you're mentioned on Roseanne, which those things were popular then, when Freddy Krueger starts popping up into sitcoms that we watched, you know that that's something special. That's something that has hooked a lot of people because it has become part of pop culture, literally. I actually want to see the Freddy Krueger episode of the Goldbergs. I haven't seen it, but I've seen little clips from it, and it looks like it would be a fun time watching that. Um, so Jay, you got before we get off here, I can probably stay on here a few more minutes if you can. Um, do you have anything that you want to bring up or?
No, I guess not. Everyone is fretting about Monday, the eclipse day, and that it may be cloudy and rainy here.
Yeah,
Uh,
it might here too.
because they're making such a big deal over that. There's supposed to be just hundreds of thousands of people coming to Waco, mainly Waco, for big viewing parties and all that. And so they're just on they're chewing their nails over whether it's going to be cloudy or not. And now, right now, they got a 30% chance of rain. They said the main issue would be the clouds more than rain.
Right, exactly.
And but yeah, I don't care one way or the other.
Jay's
I don't care if it's cloudy or not. I'll probably be outside when it's going on. It'll be interesting to see, it get dark for 3 or 4 minutes. And
right.
I said the temperature will go down about 10 degrees and see if the animals are going to freak out. Because we had a partial, close to a full eclipse, but it wasn't completely full a couple of years ago. And I remember it was weird. I was outside and my vision was weird. I got weird vision anyway, but it was just like, everything was weird for a few minutes. I couldn't describe it. Everything was weird. But let me show.
Jay's going to show the Booga Booga Bear again.
One more time here. And like I say, you guys out there, everyone here needs to order you one of these. And find something that you want, image that you want her to put on there. It could be anything, any horror movie, any movie, or it can be a person, or it can be a pet, or whatever. But they're pretty good size bears. I don't know how many inches that is. Do you know how many inches this is?
I think if you were to stand him up, Jay, I think he's 18 inches tall.
Okay. And so soft. I just want to just scrunch him.
It's some of the softest material I've ever felt.
And you get the little hoodie shirt, and but yeah, I love him, and Kathy loves hers, and you get her little tag, little booga booga tag. Am I showing it right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah. But yeah. Y'all get you a Booga Booga Bear. Think about what you would want on the shirt. Mm-hmm. And like I say, Dana, look into the baby bibs. I think that'd be a cool.
If I can find some.
You might check Temu, because Temu has everything and pretty cheap. So you might check Temu, see what they have, like a baby, just like a white baby bib that you could put the image on, or a light colored baby bib,
Blair did ask us, Jay, do you guys remember the first time you watched A Nightmare on Elm Street? I think for me, I think I rented it. I know I didn't see it at the movies, but I think I rented it, and it was really because I had watched V but I wasn't focusing on Robert Englund. I remembered that character, but I wasn't really focusing on Robert Englund. So A Nightmare on Elm Street was really my first introduction to Robert Englund. And then I got obsessed with Robert Englund when I was a kid, you know. So when I read a magazine article that showed Robert Englund without the makeup on, I was like, wow, that's the guy that played Freddy Krueger, you know, and in my 12, 13-year-old mind, you know, just it was blown, you know. This was in the days before I was going to conventions and stuff like that. So um so
Well,
yeah, I think it
it
was
was
I rented it.
what was it? The year that 1984, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Was the year I graduated, but I still worked at Mahia Theater and as a projectionist. And I'm sure it was a weekend, probably a Saturday, and we got it. We got Nightmare on Elm Street, and I had seen the previews on TV, but just had no idea what it was going to be about. Had no idea what the story was. You know, I knew who Robert Englund was because I had watched V. I had watched the series. You know, I watched the whole series. I watched all of V on TV. So I knew who Robert Englund was, and it was just nerdy alien, you know, character, which I always liked on V. And it's like, well, he's playing that they showed quick shots of him, I think, in the trailer, in the makeup. And it's like, oh, cool. It's that guy from V. He's playing a villain, or, you know, I don't know what but I had no idea what the story was, and got the movie and showed it at, you know, projected it. But my issue was, I could only watch little bits and pieces of a movie while I was projecting it because I had to, you know, old beat up projectors, you know, and you had to thread everything and thread to the two projectors. And I think a reel ran 20 minutes, I believe, was about 15 or 20 minutes was about how long a reel would run. And then you'd look for the cigarette burns up on the upper right hand corner. You get the first burn, is you turn on the next projector. The second burn is the switch over to switch to the next projector. And so I was always watching the projectors, and you know, it was there in the balcony area. There's some seats there that I could sit down and watch a little bit of the movies. But so I saw bits and pieces of it. But it wasn't until I wasn't working and had come up there with my friend Barry and actually, you know, sat down and watched the whole film. And it was just, oh shit, you know. I knew I was watching something special when I saw the movie, you know, watching something I had never seen before. And seeing Robert Englund, you know, who I from V as this Freddy Krueger character, is a good Lord, what a transition.
Exactly. Yeah.
And but yeah, that's when I saw. I saw it when it came out and saw it in the theater, the old Mahia Theater, and I definitely had a almost literal grindhouse experience watching Nightmare on Elm Street, watching it at an old theater. Probably the print was all beat up by then, because by the time we would get a movie, it was already had run for several months. You
Right.
know, so but yeah, so that's where I saw it. Saw it in Mahia Theater. After projecting it, I actually sat down and watched it. So.
I would probably be a terrible projectionist because I would probably get lost in the movie, and the next thing you know, I wouldn't have changed.
Well, of course, these days it's all one big giant
Yeah.
reel, you know, and these days, most of the time, it's not even an actual reel of film. It's
No, it's digital projection.
digital projection. So, um,
And I'm here to tell you that's not real projection.
well, I mean, you know, and I think even when I was still projecting, they had, you know, much more modern, but because the projectors that we used, you see the picture in the
Yep.
midday with Dana and Jay, you see me with that projector. I think that thing originally came off the lot in the 40s or something. You know, it's there was parts of that projector that were, you know, 50 years old when I was working there. You know, and just, you know, ancient, you know, used carbon rods that lit up, and that was how you projected that was the light for the film. It was literal fire.
Mhm.
So, but I think even then they had those big platter systems where all the reels would put on one big giant platter, and was, you know, you didn't switch over from one projector to the other. It was all one projector and one big giant platter had all the reels of film on it. But not us. We switched one to the other, to the other, to the other.
But I could just see myself getting into a movie and then forgetting to change the reel
Yeah.
out, and everybody be like, "What happened here?" And oops.
Well, you got to like say when I'd get there about 30 minutes before the show time because it was you've seen those big containers of film and 4 or 5 reels depending on how long the film is, and you had to look because the image had to be upside down because it got when it went through the projecting to the lens, then it it was flipped over to right side up, but it had to be
the time that Jay drank a little.
when I got drunk on the strawberry daiquiris and showed Return of the Jedi upside down. But yeah, and so I'd have to go, and if it was right side up, no, you had to put. So we had these, rewinding machine, little motor in the middle, and it was these 2, reels. You put them on each there and rewind them, so they would be upside down. So you had to check each one, and maybe there might be 1 or 2 that were correct, but the other 2 or 3 you'd have to rewind, and get them ready. But I miss that though. I miss working at that old theater. Those were fun times.
I bet Jay's got a million memories from.
Oh yeah. Just and during a really entertaining time too, the 80s, early to mid 80s. So
many great movies during that time period.
Your what is it? Watch Along Saturday. What year did Magic come out? Because I want to say we projected Magic, or I projected Magic. But anyway,
1978, Jay.
Well, I didn't then. No, I didn't. I saw it in the theater. I saw it in my theater though, Magic.
Kathy does say Freddy starts out in drag as the school nurse briefly.
I like him. Yeah, I like that bit. Is him as you see Robert Englund as the nurse, and you get a bit of Robert Englund.
Yeah.
And it's so obviously Robert Englund. It's like
oh my god, yeah. If you can't tell that's Robert Englund, I don't know what to say. Thank you, Batman. He said this was an awesome live. So I'm going to stay on a couple more minutes till 9:30, and then I think we'll call it a night. But if you got any questions for me or Jay in the next minute and a half or whatever, I'd be glad for you to mention them. And like Jay says, pick up your Booga Booga Bear. The shop, in fact, I'll put the shop URL in the chat in case some of you guys and gals want to go. I've just got the Booga Booga Bears on there right now, but there will soon be lots of other products on there that you can pick from, tumblers and t-shirts, and I'm going to see if I can get those baby bibs and maybe some onesies and all kinds of stuff in there. Oh, you're welcome, Kathy. Kathy says, thanks for having me. Love my Booga Booga Bear. I think Jay loves his too. He's been showing it off. I don't, again, I'm not trying to make Steve sound like the bad guy, but he just doesn't seem like as ecstatic about these Booga Booga Bears as everybody else seems to be. But
well, you need to make Steve one. You need to make him, what is it? What is the rapist film? What's it called? The
Infernal Rapist.
Infernal Rapist. Make him an Infernal Rapist bear.
Maybe I could make him one with Bruce Lee on it or something, or I Enter the Dragon one for him. But it is now 9:30, so I guess me and Jay will call it a night so Jay can get some rest. I can get some rest for work tomorrow. I'm sure Jay's got things he's got planned for tomorrow to do.
Oh
And
yeah, I've got lots of plans.
well,
Got all kinds of
you
plans.
gotta keep up that physique, Jay. So you gotta, do your exercising and all that.
My Reaper.
Make those tattoos look good.
Yeah.
Uh, Jay's got his snazzy shirt on too. I like that shirt.
Yeah, hopefully I got some Temu shirts coming. Hopefully I'll get them tomorrow because it's they give you that timeline. It's usually about a couple of weeks.
Right.
But it's about time I got them. And what's a black shirt and another tank shirt that's got I don't know what it's got some kind of sailboat or something on it. I don't know what it is, but I'm getting another button shirt, black shirt.
Maybe you can show that off, unless you want to show it off earlier. Maybe you can show it off on Midday with Dana and Jay or something. If you get it around that time or whatever. Um, but I want to thank Jay for being on here with me. If Kathy's still in the chat, I want to thank her for being on here as well. It's always fun to have Jay and Kathy on here. And I want to thank everybody in the chat for coming out. We've got about 11 people in here right now. And as Jay says, we expect to see at least 11 likes.
Mm-hmm.
Or I will send Jay to your house.
You should have well, because Kathy already ordered her, so you should get 10 orders for Booga Booga Bears.
That would be nice.
That would be now. That'd make you a chunk of change there.
Yes, it would. Definitely would.
But,
But just remember to, if you like the content I'm putting out, it takes you half a second to like and subscribe. If you are financially able and want to join the channel, you can for as little as $5 a month. And with that, you are guaranteed 2 movie reviews per month. You can make me watch any old damn movie that you want me to watch, even stuff that I've said I've hated. If you're paying $5 a month and you want one of those 2 to be a movie I hate, have at it. I will do it. And also check out the site, deadites.com. I'm going to be putting some new products on there shortly. The Booga Booga Bears are live on the site. And you can get one just like Jay and Kathy's bears, if you want to, with any design basically that you want on these bears. So I can't wait till Jay finds a place for his bear. Maybe he can.
yeah, I know where I want to put it. It's on the wall behind the TV here, kind of up above there. But I want a shelf, just a little flat shelf to put it on. So.
And Victor says, enjoyable show. Talk to you guys soon. Well, thank you, Victor. I'm glad you enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to return to the streams. And on that note, me and Jay are going to skedaddle on out of here for the night.
Bye, everybody. Bye, Dana.
Bye, Jay. Bye, chat. And we'll see everybody next time.